Shinichi was shocked when he saw the many corpses, the victims of Hideo, lying around. Shinichi finally managed to find Satomi and took her away from there. After saving Satomi, he rushed to find Hideo, who was already on the school roof. He immediately threw a stone right at Hideo's heart. Hideo died instantly and his body dried up. Not long after, the police arrived there and secured Hideo's body. After the incident that killed many people, the school decided to close the school indefinitely. Meanwhile, in other places, state officials, representatives of the military, and the police were discussing the attack of parasitic aliens that were rampant in several countries. They intend to publish about the parasitic alien to the whole community because they have found a way to distinguish between ordinary humans and humans who have become parasitic alien hosts by pulling a hair from their heads. If the strands of hair dry and disappear, then it can be ascertained that the person has become the host. The next day, Kana looks jealous seeing the closeness of Shinichi and Satomi, who come home from school together. She tried to send her signal so that Shinichi could feel her presence, but the only one aware of her existence is Migi. At home, Migi tells Shinichi that Kana can emit strange waves like parasitic aliens, which will endanger her safety because it can invite the arrival of other parasitic aliens. Hearing that, Shinichi also plans to tell about himself and Migi so that she doesn't use her powers recklessly. He contacted Kana and asked her to come to see him the next day. After arranging an appointment with Shinichi, Kana intends to show her true love for Shinichi, where she will use her very sensitive hunch to find Shinichi, and for that, she will leave her cell phone at home and will rely only on her hunches. The next day, she follows her sensitive hunch to find Shinichi, until finally arrives at an abandoned building. But when she came, it was not Shinichi who was there, but a parasitic alien that was preying on its victims. The parasitic alien who noticed her presence immediately chased her. On the other hand, Shinichi, who was looking for Kana, tried to contact Kana's cell phone but no answer. He also asks for Migi's help to find her. But when he finally discovered Kana's presence in an abandoned building, the parasitic alien had already attacked and stabbed her in the chest. Shinichi, who was furious because his closest friends had fallen victim to the cruelty of the parasitic alien, launched a fatal attack and managed to pull out the host's heart with his bare hands, without Migi's help. Seeing this, Migi also looks flabbergasted because Shinichi's abilities have increased very rapidly. After that, Shinichi checked Kana's condition, but Kana's life didn't seem could be saved because she had lost a lot of blood. Before her last breath, she expressed her love for Shinichi and said that she was very happy because she was able to meet Shinichi. Shinichi felt very frustrated and devastated by her death, and Shinichi then blamed himself for not being able to save Kana. In the other place, Ryoko is meeting another parasitic alien, where she finally finds out that Shinichi is the one who killed Hideo Shimada. But Ryoko asked the other parasitic aliens not to kill him because she still had to monitor his movements to be used as research material that would determine the survival of their species on Earth. All the parasitic aliens present at the meeting agreed to Ryoko's request and leave the affairs of Shinichi and Migi to her. After that, Ryoko hired a private detective, a man named Shiro Kuramori, to spy on all of Shinichi's activities. But he's caught by Migi when he takes picture of them at the location where Kana is killed. Migi pursued Kuramori and intended to kill him, but Shinichi managed to prevent Migi and let Kuramori escape. However, not long after, Shinichi even felt afraid of his photo having a parasitic alien in his hands spread in the community and people would start to stay away from him. But then, Migi informs that he has secured the detective's camera and deleted all the files. Migi then suggested that Shinichi work with their ally, Uda, to solve the problem with Kuramori. Shinichi immediately contacted Uda and asked him to come to see him. After they met, Shinichi told him the problems he was experiencing, and Uda was happy to help him. They devised a plan to catch Kuramori when the man was carrying out his task of spying on Shinichi. Long story short, they finally can capture Kuramori. They then revealed to him their identity as parasitic alien hosts and told him everything they had experienced. Shinichi then asked Kuramori to keep them a secret from others. Even Migi and Uda's Parasyte threatened to kill Kuramori. Shinichi then reveals that his client, Ryoko, is a parasitic alien who will not hesitate to kill humans. Hearing this, Kuramori complied with Shinichi's request. The story continues and shows Kuramori meeting and asking Shinichi to follow him to a building. Kuramori tells Shinichi that his assistant, a man named Abe, suddenly disappeared while following Ryoko to the building. Migi, who heard this, scolded Kuramori for being too involved in the affairs of the parasitic aliens, especially Ryoko and her group. Even so, Shinichi and Migi are willing to help Kuramori find his assistant. They entered the building to look for Abe. However, they instead encounter a parasitic alien who wants to prey on its victims. Shinichi rushed to attack the parasitic alien. Unluckily, a woman who was about to become prey could not be saved and was killed. Shinichi is furious and then attacks and destroys the parasitic alien mercilessly. Because his abilities are getting stronger by the day, he can defeat them without relying on Migi too much. After that, Migi estimated that the place was one of the facilities used by Takeshi Hirokawa, a ringleader of a parasite conspiracy to conquer humanity. To realize his vision of culling the human race for the planet's well-being, Hirokawa lends his resources and political acumen to unite the parasites and transform the chaotic mincemeat murders into a streamlined process of mass slaughter. Meanwhile, after seeing the fight between Shinichi and the parasitic alien, Kuramori realized that it was beyond his control and decided not to further investigate the parasitic alien. Kuramori gave his camera's memory card to Shinichi, and Migi destroyed it. In the other place, the members of the Parasyte organization meet after an incident that occurred at one of their facilities. They agree to kill Shinichi, Izumi, and Migi because their existence threatens the survival of their species. Hearing this, Ryoko had to agree to their plan to eliminate Shinichi and Migi. They sent a parasitic alien in the form of a man named Miki to carry out the plan. The next day at school, Shinichi seems to be brooding alone, thinking about ways to kill parasitic aliens and protect humanity. But then, Migi informs that 3 parasitic aliens are approaching them with a desire to kill. Hearing that, Shinichi became even more excited to fight them. But Migi warns Shinichi that those parasites are indeed targeting him and asks him not to act rashly. Migi then asks Shinichi to get as far away from the crowd as possible so they can fight without endangering human safety. They finally arrived at the edge of a deserted forest and met the Parasyte. Even though Migi feels the presence of the 3 parasites, it turns out that they only meet a man, named Miki. Miki is a combination of 3 parasitic aliens in one host body. He revealed his true form and immediately attacked Shinichi. At first, Shinichi was overwhelmed by Miki's relentless attacks. But because Miki's body is controlled by 3 parasitic aliens, his movements are often out of sync and Migi manages to find an opening to counter his attack. Shinichi also lures Miki into the forest to narrow Miki's space. With Migi's direction, he could counter the attack and finally cut off his head. Unexpectedly, he can regenerate his head with someone else's head. Not only that, after regenerating, his strength and speed also increased greatly. Shinichi then decided to escape by riding a truck. Unexpectedly, Miki could catch up with the truck and chase them. When Miki dangled and wanted to attack Shinichi, Migi cleverly controlled the truck's steering wheel and made his body fall because it was hit by a vehicle from the opposite direction. They finally could avoid Miki's pursuit and run away. Elsewhere, Kuramori is being interrogated by the police regarding the massacre of his family, where he assumes that his entire family has been killed by Ryoko. Because of that, he leaked information about Ryoko Tamiya and the parasitic alien organization to the police. That night, when Ryoko wanted to return to her apartment, she felt the presence of 3 parasitic aliens approaching her with a desire to kill. She then canceled to go home and lure those parasites to another place to protect her baby. Those parasites turned out to be ordered by the higher-ups of the Parasyte organization to kill her because her presence was considered a dangerous threat to the parasites. After all, she began to develop an emotional attachment to humans after the birth of her human baby. She already suspected this, even though in reality, she only cares about her human baby. She led those parasites to a quiet place and split them apart to confuse them. With her ingenuity, she made the 3 parasitic aliens kill each other and managed to get them used to it without any effort. But when she returned to her apartment, she realized that someone had broken into her apartment door and infiltrated it. She found out that Kuramori was the intruder through the note left by the man, which also stated that he had kidnapped her baby. He seemed to want revenge for the death of his entire family and then asked Ryoko to come to the park at 5 in the afternoon the next day. After that, Ryoko contacted Shinichi and asked him for help because she realized that her instinct as a mother was much stronger than her killer instinct as a parasite. On the appointed day, Ryoko arrived at the park and met Kuramori, who was holding her baby. She didn't hesitate to kill Kuramori to save her baby. At the end of his life, Kuramori still couldn't believe that a bloodthirsty monster like Ryoko would do anything to save her human baby. After that, Ryoko wants to meet Shinichi, who was waiting for him in the corner of the park. But the police came and surrounded her because they had found out her identity as a parasitic alien. The police then pointed their guns at her. Shortly after, the police shot Ryoko indiscriminately. Seeing this, Shinichi panicked and worried about the human baby's safety, who was in Ryoko's arms. But Ryoko did not budge from the repeated attacks from the police, and she did all that to protect her baby. She protects her baby by resisting the bullets using her body. She tries to touch Shinichi's heart by turning her face into Shinichi's mother. After that, she handed her baby to Shinichi before she died of blood loss. Shinichi, who saw Ryoko's sacrifice for her baby, then remembered his mother's love. Finally, Shinichi could feel the empathy and affection that had disappeared from him, and he was finally able to shed tears after a long time. After that, Shinichi was secured by the police for interrogation regarding Ryoko Tamiya and to undergo a physical examination because the police suspected that he was one of the Parasytes' alien hosts. All this time, he had always been involved with the case of the Parasyte. But the police's suspicions were not proven at all, so Shinichi was finally allowed to return home. But the police still need his help to hunt down and eradicate all parasitic aliens from their country. It turns out that the police have made a plan to destroy the parasitic organization that houses Ryoko Tamiya and other parasitic aliens. The police then assigned all members of the special assault team to raid the mayor's building, which was claimed to be the headquarters of the parasitic organization formed by Hirokawa, who served as mayor. They scanned everyone who was there, while Shinichi helped monitor everyone through the CCTV cameras. At first, the scanning process went smoothly. Still, later, some parasitic aliens started causing trouble and chaos to distract the members of the SAT team, so Hirokawa and his parasite allies managed to escape from there and fled upstairs. Knowing this, the members of the SAT team immediately chased them and shot people suspected of being the Parasytes. But then, a man named Goto, who is the strongest parasite, intercepts the members of the SAT team who are about to chase Hirokawa, where Goto can easily reverse the bullets from the SAT team and counter them with a deadly attack. After that, he left and met Shinichi, who was outside the building. Goto, who had fought with Shinichi and Migi before, then told him that their business was not finished and would come to kill Shinichi. Goto then left from there and stunned everyone by showing his superhuman strength. A few days later, Shinichi felt a wave of signals from Goto getting closer to him. Therefore, he then drives to a remote area away from the crowds to lure Goto so that there are no civilian casualties due to their intense fight. Shinichi and Migi finally arrived at a forest, where they set up a plan. Migi suggests that they fight separately, in which case Shinichi will attack Goto suddenly using fire. Meanwhile, Migi will separate from Shinichi's body and focus on cutting off Goto's head. Shinichi managed to catch Goto off guard, but Migi failed to decapitate him, so Goto recovered himself and tried to attack Shinichi. Knowing this, Migi then ordered Shinichi to leave him. Shinichi, who can't do anything, finally leaves, feeling sad because he can't help Migi. Meanwhile, Migi, who was holding Goto's body as much as possible so he can't chase Shinichi, slowly dried up because he was separated from Shinichi's body for a long time. After that, Shinichi, who survived, then found a house in the middle of the forest inhabited by an old woman named Mitsuyo. Feeling sorry, Mitsuyo then allowed Shinichi to stay temporarily at her house until his condition recovered. However, after a few days of staying at Mitsuyo's house, Shinichi decided to return to fight against Goto no matter what. Shinichi is determined to destroy Goto because he wants to stop him from killing more humans. Shinichi found him sleeping in the middle of the forest. After that, Shinichi immediately attacked him using a machete he had prepared before. Unfortunately, Goto noticed Shinichi's presence and parried his attack. The furious Goto then launched a counterattack, which made Shinichi pressed and his body badly injured. Shinichi then remembered the injuries Goto suffered during the shooting by the SAT team the other day. Then, he poisons Goto by stabbing one of his few vulnerable areas with a toxicated pipe. As a result, Goto loses control of the other parasites in his body, enabling Migi to break free. Having finally managed to escape from Goto, Migi immediately rejoined himself with Shinichi's body. Meanwhile, the other parasites in Goto's body start to rebel because Migi attacks the vital parts of his body. Shortly after, the cells in Goto's body began to show a reaction and Migi used it to launch a fatal attack that instantly destroyed the parasite. After that, Shinichi returned to the city with Migi. After Goto's death, there was no more news about the brutal killings caused by parasitic aliens. Even the movements and activities of the parasites are not visible. Meanwhile, Shinichi, who was fast asleep, meets Migi in a dream. He says that he will sleep inside Shinichi's body for a very long time, maybe even forever, until he died inside. Then, he said goodbye and thanked Shinichi for everything that Shinichi did for him. He also hopes that Shinichi can forget his presence and consider their meeting just a dream. But when he wakes up, Shinichi, who still remembers Migi, looks so sad and frustrated that Migi no longer responds. Sometime since Migi enters deep sleep, Shinichi and Satomi are walking around, where Satomi is taken hostage by a man named Uragami, a cannibalistic serial killer who can distinguish between humans and the parasites. He was brought in by the military to help them in their operation to exterminate the Parasytes and escape when the military unit was slaughtered by Goto. He takes Sotomi to confront Shinichi and see if Shinichi has the same worldviews as he does. Uragami carried her to the roof of the building before attacking Shinichi with a knife and knocking her off. Shinichi lunged at Uragami, trying to save her. However, Shinichi's right hand was injured, so he could not reach her. Seeing this, he also thought that he had failed to save her, then sat limply while lamenting the incident. But unexpectedly, Shinichi's right hand managed to reach Sotomi's hand, so Shinichi immediately pulled her into his arms. He also believes that it was Migi's help, and he thanks Migi for everything he has done. After that, Shinichi started a new life and welcomed a better future. The moral that we can learn from this anime is that true friendship can exist between two different species, as long as the friendship is based on mutual trust, determination to fight together, and willingness to sacrifice to protect each other.